Hello world. Yeah, it's Kurt here again. I'm off to another hike. I'm just beginning actually. I'm going to be hiking for another 4 miles up this new path that I've never seen before, and I'm going to break through into the woodlands like here, but not here, for another probably quarter of a mile. I have it all mapped up on my topographical map in my pocket, so I'll start looking for the trail about 3 miles in. All these trails look alike, but like I said, this is the beginning, so it's pretty wide. But anyway, yeah, it's been raining here in Florida for the past week, and lots of mosquitoes out, very bright and very, very humid to say the least. But I love it. I love it, I love it, I love it. I love the heat. So, where I left off from my last video is within the next few weeks, I'm going to start introducing you, for those of you that are new, I'm going to start introducing you to some of the books that I read. And these books, at the time of purchase, they were quite inexpensive to me. But now, I just got educated on the price of these books, and it's unfortunate how expensive they've gotten. But I want to introduce you to a book called Christopher Columbus. It's what he recorded, or his scribe reported during his first Inquisition into the Americas. That book was quite expensive for me, but it's neither here nor there, but now it's gone up in price even more, and I'm so shocked. I'm like, why? The world should be privy to this. But what happens is that the book was written in Old Portuguese, and it was interpreted by a PhD, a doctor of language, who studied history, his followings, Christopher Columbus, Spain, Portugal, Roman Empire. And what she did, she reinterpreted the book in English, so you can see side by side his writings. He did some writings, but his scribe did most of it, and her interpretation, written in English, of what he discovered when during his first trips to the Americas. It's a quite fascinating book. These things, like I said, these things were not taught in school, and I'm flabbergasted, even to this day, that these pieces of information, critical history, was not adopted in high school, at least high school, because this is a high school book in a sense that it's a book that is well written, that you can study in high school. You don't have to go to college or post-grad to read this book and understand it. It's basically a high school book of written history of America. So these videos are going to be about helping you, the next generation, and for those of you who do not yet fully understand what's going on. Wow, it's really muddied. Look at that. I'm trying to think of a way to get out of here. That's where I need to go. So I'm trying to show you, the next generation, missing pieces to the puzzle, coupled with other humans posting videos about the nature of life. I do not know it all. I really don't. But I know enough. I know enough to prove. Whew, made it out of there. But I know enough to prove to my physical self that history is wrong. History, what we were taught in school, is wrong. It's not the way human civilization in my timeline, and for 2,000 years, 3,000 years, that timeline of human evolution that we were taught in school, it's fundamentally a lie. And I can prove it by the books I've read. And this is why it's prudent for me to get you up to speed. For those of you who do know and do understand, perfect. Well, take what you know and teach it to others, because there are so many people thinking the world is what it is, and it truly isn't. So that's what these videos are all about. And I'm going to start showing you just some of the books. There's so many books in the world, thousands of books in the world, Who knows what the Vatican is hiding underneath their walls. And even the Vatican Empire, that building was not designed by humans in this world. That was old Tartar. All the buildings, all the commonwealths of England, Great Britain, all over the world. I remember growing up when I first came to the Americas in the 70s, late 70s. I'm from Trinidad and Tobago. I was born in Trinidad. And I was marveled when I saw what the Brooklyn Museum looked like. And to see that building, and I'm like, wow. Who built that? It's just marveling at how the Europeans built such beautiful structures like that. The Capitol, Washington, D.C. The Museum of Natural History. I can go on and on and on. But for those of you who live in the Northeast of America, you can understand what I'm talking about, these buildings. And it's all throughout America. We call it Tartar. That's not what they called themselves, okay? But that race of humans that died out probably 1,000 years ago, and it could not have been probably 1,000 years ago, the Great Flood happened all across the world, because when the British came to America, 1776, 500 years ago, and before the Spanish, so when America was being discovered by the Spanish conquistadorians, let's say roughly 500 years ago, the Tartars, let's call them that, for lack of a better term, that race of humanity all throughout the world pretty much was gone. So these buildings were left standing 500 years before pretty much 300 to 500 years after the flood in America, before the Europeans came to America and discovered and rediscovered it and called it their creation, their buildings, founded, made up a name, that it was founded, blah, 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 1938, 1890, by the European race, when they had nothing to do with it. So all these lies in history, the deceits, the concepts of even Rome, when Rome fell and the Europeans, Julius Caesar, you know, the whole slew of them, occupied those buildings, they didn't build any one of them. The Roman Colosseum, they didn't build the Colosseums. The Tartars did. That race of men. Or were they men? Or were they some super race, not from this world? Who knows? There's no written history. Yeah, it's getting bright. Had to put my glasses on. The Sphinx, Egypt. Egypt was in many locations throughout the world. I'm certain. And you know what I'm certain about? They had time travel. Or they were capable of traveling interdimensional. And I'll get into that. Ooh. Look at how much water there is there. Wow. This is where I wanted to go. Oh, wow. Okay. All right. Oh, wow. So it's a floodplain now. All right. Well. They had a way all right, I guess I have to there's no place for me to sit and talk with you. Oh, there's a place. Oh, wow. Okay. Oh. There's a little spot right over there. Okay. Wow. I'm shocked. I've never seen it like this. All right. I guess I'm going to have to make do. But getting back to Egypt. Yeah. Egypt not only in Egypt, what we consider Egypt, but Egypt in the Americas as well. Egypt was here in the Americas. They were in the Grand Canyons. And they did time travel all across the continent using plasma technology. And I never knew in physics what I was getting into with plasma, but I love electricity and plasma. I just discovered that 10 years ago, 15 years ago, that through plasma you can actually use plasma, if focused and if done right. You can use it to time warp using certain devices. Did not know that. It was actually 18 years ago. So, quite fascinating. Really is. Anyway, like I said, I'm going to start introducing you to books that I've discovered, learned, but I have, and I discovered in my time with Americas back 30, 40 years ago. Not 40 years ago, but 30 years ago, 25 years ago, of America, Russia. How many truths were told to us, but was never true. Other cultures discovered this so far beyond us. They knew what was going on way before Christopher Columbus and information that was told to us in the 70s and 60s and 50s. The world is not, even the Bible, the world is not what we thought it was. It is. Alright. Until the next video, I can go on, because my brain is just, you see me thinking. I'm going on and on and on, and I can go on. Oh my goodness. I can keep going, but I'm going to end it here because I know these videos are long. I'll talk with you soon.